Good morning, everyone. I just want to see if I'm audible, if I can just get a thumbs up.
Good morning. I can hear you.
Okay, noted. Thank you. I see it's now 1 minute to 10, but I just want to allow a few more minutes just so we can get more of our colleagues to join. Just say another 2 to 3 more minutes, if that's fine with everyone, and then we'll start.
Get the charger, brother. You want to remove my charger?
Leave charges because I want to do charge. We'll charge it. I want to better.
Okay, good morning, colleagues. Good morning to our stakeholders. My time is now 2 minutes past 10. We do still have some of our colleagues joining. They'll just join as we move along, but I think we can start the session. My name is Corey Anderson. I am the Stakeholder Relations Administrator, and I will be program directing the session today. We're going to start off with the first item, which is just the opening remarks and welcome. I'd like to welcome everybody to the session. This is our first DG session for this window that is currently open. We do have a few more workshops coming up after this. So if you do miss out on anything in this session, there are sessions that you can join after today. The communication will be sent regarding the dates and times for those sessions. Just also a heads up, we are recording the session. We will be uploading it onto our YouTube page, just in case anybody wants to refer back to it. You will find it on our YouTube page, and we'll also share the link with everybody in the session today. So thank you all for joining the session. I think we can officially start. I'm going to hand over to our MG manager, Mandatory Grants Manager, Samuel. He'll be doing the second item, which is the content. Sam, if you're here, you can come in. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Samuel Manamela, Manager at Learning Program and Strategic Projects. I will be presenting the content items that will be discussed during this capacity building. I hope I'm audible. Okay, just a moment.
Yes, you are, Sam.
Yes, you are.
All right, just a moment. I'm sharing the presentation. I hope everyone can see my screen as I'm presenting the content that we covered. Okay, can I please ask everyone who is part of the meeting just to register their names on the chat and then the companies they are from, so that we can take note of people who are present in this capacity building. Okay, content of this DG capacity building that will be covered, a national development plan priority linked to public sector education training, understanding sectoral skills needs, white paper for post-school education and training, CETA functions as linked to the discretionary grants process, discretionary funding model, eligible and qualifying criteria will also be presented during this capacity building. The CETA grants regulations will also be shared. And then we'll also outline the legislative framework.
Sorry, Sam.
National. Yes, Corey.
Colleagues, can we all please just mute our mics during the session? Thank you. You can carry on, Sam.
All right. National development plan priorities that stand out for the public sector education training. And then down there, raising employment through a faster economic growth, and then improving the quality of education, skills development, and innovations, building the capacity of the state to play a developmental transformation roles. And then also understanding the skills needs. National, all sectors include local, provincial level and occupations in high demand and priority occupations, DHET. Then sectoral levels, determining skills at sectoral level of occupation in high demand and priority occupational sector. And then occupational level, understanding skills at the workplace, SDF training managers. And then the functions of the SETA, the Skills Development Act, the SETA's establishing learning programs, pivotal programs. You're talking about learnership, apprenticeship, skills program, internship, work integrated learning, IED, bursaries, candidacy, RPL. Those are programs that are covered under discretionary grant pivotal programs. Approving workplace skills plans and annual training reports. Allocating grants in the prescribed manner and in accordance with any prescribed standard and criteria. Discretionary grant, it will cover a pivotal and non-pivotal special projects. A due diligence exercise in line with the national workplace approval policy. For those companies that are new implementers, will do the due diligence before the implementation can take place. Identifying workplace for practical work experience, register agreements for learning program. That's during the implementation stage in terms of the 2018 workplace-based learning programs agreement regulations.
Sam, if you're talking, your mic is muted.
Can you hear me, Corina?
We can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I was on SETA grant regulations. The DG policy must embrace the principles of transparency, openness, access, and fairness in line with the objective of the Public Finance Management Act. The mechanism for SETA member organization to access a discretionary grant. Annual approval of discretionary grant policy specify funds allocation, the funds framework, how pivotal programs can be delivered through public education and training institutions. And then discretionary grant money is received as contemplated in section 7.3 of skills regulations, allocation of levy grants. On that table is just a breakdown, total levy allocation. Employers are obliged to pay 1% of total payroll to SARS, only companies with a payroll of minimum of 500 per annum. 20% to NSF, National Skills Fund levies are transferred to NSF. And then 10.5 is for SETA administration. The 20% is given to companies, is transferred to companies that are compliant with the mandatory grant. And then the 49.5% is for pivotal programs or discretionary grant. And then it will be divided into 80%, which is pivotal programs, 20% for non-pivotal programs. And then FoodBev SETA will award discretionary grant to the following types of entities: levy paying and non-levy paying, employers, public TVET and CT colleges, public universities, and University of Technologies. All right, Corey, I'll hand over to Busi to continue with the presentation.
Thanks, Sam. I see Busi will be doing the legislative framework and the discretionary grants funding model. Busi, you can take over. Thanks.
Thank you, Corey. Morning, everyone. Morning, stakeholders. I'll be starting with the discretionary grant funding model. Please indicate if you can see my screen. I want to put it on slide mode. Okay. I'll start with the discretionary grant funding model. The discretionary grant funding model per learning program will just be outlining the learning programs that we have available at FoodBev SETA, the allocation funds per learner, the payment breakdown, as well as the required documents that we need per tranche breakdown. We have several of these learning programs. I'll try not to, because the slides are a bit lengthy, I'll try to summarize, if I can summarize them as fast as I can. We have AED program, of which we fund at 5,000 per learner, paid in two tranches. 80% first tranche, 20% the second tranche. First tranche we pay upon registration, and then second tranche we pay upon completion. The following, we have apprentice program. We have two apprentices. We have employed and unemployed. Employed we fund at 55,000 per annum per learner, and then unemployed we fund at 206,290 per learner. The employed we only pay in two tranches upon registration and upon completion. And then the unemployed, we have 4 tranches. So we pay upon registration, first tranche, and then there's progress 1 and progress 2. and then we have the fourth tranche upon completion. The document requirement is per the learning program. So not all programs require the same proof of completion. Some programs require logbook, some it's pay slips. So for all unemployed learners, we require proof of learner stipend. So for all the unemployed programs that we pay stipends, employers are required to ensure that they pay the learner stipend according to the requirements. And they need to submit those proof of stipend to the SETA as proof that learners were paid their stipends. Once we receive that proof, we'll be able to pay the following tranches. But should we not receive the proof that learners are being paid their required stipends, then we will be unable to process further payments to the company. We also have bursaries employed, which we fund at 50,000 per learner. For bursaries employed, we also have in 2 tranches. We also fund only for final year students or postgraduate students, as well as your NQF level 6 as a minimum. And then we have employed learnerships. Employed learnerships, we only fund 25,000 per learner. It's paid in 3 tranches. Tranche 1 upon registration, tranche 2 upon interval moderation, and then tranche 3 upon completion. It is vital that for learnerships, stakeholders apply for your interval moderations in time so that tranche 2 can be processed without any delays. We also have learnership people with disability, of which we pay at 35,000 per annum. It's also in 3 tranches. And then for learnerships unemployed, we have it at 67,000 per learner. We also have it, we also pay it in 3 tranches: registration, progress, and completion, with a minimum stipend of 3.5 per learner. So stakeholders are required to pay learners 3.5 stipend per learner per month, and submit proof that the learner stipend has been processed. So we urge that stakeholders process the proof of stipend to the learners in time. We also have learnership unemployed disability, of which we pay at 88,000 per learner, with a minimum stipend of 4.5 per learner. We also have skills program employed, which is based on total number of credits applied for to a maximum of 60 credits. We paid at 200 per credit, which includes all learning material, portfolio of evidence, assessment of learners, and certification. We also paid in 2 tranches, upon registration and upon completion. Then it's your skills program unemployed. We usually have this, but not in all the financial years. It's the same, it's also 200 per credit, with a maximum of 60 credits, also paid in 2 tranches. Then we go to TVET placements. TVET placement is at 63,000 for non-engineering courses and then 84,000 for engineering courses. This is then paid in 3 tranches. And then it's tranche 1 registration, tranche 2 progress, and tranche 3 upon completion. And then we have internship programs, which is at 60,000 per learner, with a minimum stipend of 5,000 per learner, which is also paid in 3 tranches. So upon registration, progress, and completion. Then we also have work experience, which is also at 60,000 per learner with a minimum stipend of 5,000, also paid in 3 tranches. We also have bursaries, research, and masters and PhD. It's paid up to a maximum of 120 for master's students and up to a maximum of 150 for PhD students. This we pay 100% when claimed. And then tranche deliverables, you'll have your signed MOU between the CETA and the learner, the research proposal, proof of registration, your learner ID copy, your bank details. Tranche 2 is only paid if tranche 1 was not fully utilized. Then we also have, another note on the masters and PhD. These applications are only for unemployed students, and the application we are receiving directly from the institution. So we are not receiving individual applications. It's institutions that can apply for the learners on the system. The application is on the system. If any institution is online and they would like to apply for any of the students in their institution who are doing your master's or PhD, the applications are now online. And then we also have candidacy program, up to maximum of 225,000 at 84,000 per year, which is paid in 3 years. And then we will move to the discretionary grants compliance and evaluation criteria. The qualifying criteria for DGs, companies have to be up to date with their levies. We get a lot of requests from companies who pay levies from other SETAs who want to apply for funding with FoodWave SETA. Unfortunately, you have to be paying levies at FoodWave SETA to be able to access the discretionary grant funding. Applications must be in support of our hard to fill vacancies and our sectorial priority in innovation. Applicants, Applicants must have a good learner track record. We have been faced with the challenge where over the years, stakeholders are applying, we are awarding them, they're entering their learners, but the completion rate is just dropping. You're not finding learners completing their programs in a stipulated time frame. If you register a learner for learnership should be completed within 12 to 13 months. So if you have learners behind schedule, then this will affect your current application because we need to close the learners off in the system. For non-levy paying companies, they need to be exempted, so they need to provide us with an exemption letter to confirm that they're exempted from paying their levies. They must also submit a simplified pivotal plan. We'll also need proof of accreditation for the qualification to prove that the qualifications that you're applying for are accredited. We also need authorization of grant application. People who are applying for the grants must either be the SDF or an authorized person from the company to apply for the grant. Your Annex 2, an employer must have submitted Annex 2, which is your WSP. And then implementation plans for all learning program. We now require implementation plans to be submitted along with your application for all learning programs. Then the evaluation process. Once the applications close, we start with the compliance committee. Then it's the evaluation committee. Then it goes to the adjudication committee, the award committee, and then the final feedback is provided to the stakeholders. We will just stress on the compliance checks because these are the most critical documents that will likely to delay the approval of the application, or some would cause the applications not to be approved. The first one is the WSP for levy paying applicants. Stakeholders need to have submitted their WSP for them to qualify for the discretionary grants. We need the signed authorization page. When you're done with your application, you should be able to download your authorization page that speaks to the actual DG application and not the WSP authorization page. The two are different, so we urge stakeholders, if you are not sure if your authorization page is correct, you can please contact us to check and then we'll confirm. But the authorization page is the one for DG. It should be signed by the SDF who had completed the application. Implementation plan for all the learning programs. Implementation plans should be clearly outlined in terms of the start of the program and the completion of the program. Proof of accreditation, accreditation needs to be valid. It needs to be for the actual application or qualification that you are applying for. We also require trade test accreditation for Trade Test Center for Artisans. And then we also need your letter of consent commitment between employer and training provider, and the letter must contain the training provider information and the qualification applying for, and it needs to be signed. We also need the MOA, the MOU between the host employer. This is for TVET colleges and universities. We also require people to plan for non-levy paying applicants. Bursaries, we need a list of learners, proof of registration, admission on a letterhead of an accredited institution. For bursaries unemployed, to include the statement of account. We also need signed workplace approval for artisans or workplace approval application signed by Food SETA. If your workplace approval you don't have a workplace approval, then we need proof that you at least have applied for the workplace approval. Motivational letter for learners behind schedule with the projected completion date. Motivational letter for non-hard to fill vacancies. And then you are required to respond within 3 days to all the queries raised by our compliance committee. When you respond to the queries, you will be required to upload all the documents under the document upload section on SIMS under the 26-27 financial year. Now we'll be discussing the challenges and common mistakes that we experience or we come across during the applications. Online applications created and completed but not submitted. We still have stakeholders who are coming back to us and saying, I submitted my application, I have not received feedback. But when we check on the system, we find that the status is pending. When the status is pending, it means that your application did not go through and we cannot proceed with evaluating your application. So we urge stakeholders to check the status of the application. It should always be on submitted status. Access to the system that is requested by SDF late. We have challenges where stakeholders request the access to the system on the last day of the application. That creates a lot of frustration, because if maybe you have requested the access to the system at 3 on the last day, and then I give you access to the system at 4, and then you start the application, you might find challenges during the application and you might not find the Food SETA officials to assist you in addressing the queries that you need, and you might end up not submitting your application. So we urge you, even if you're planning to start your application on the last day, but the access to the system, please request it on time so that we can try and have enough time to assist you during the application process. There's authorization pages that are not signed. You download the authorization form and then just upload it on the system without signing it. That also causes delay, raises a query. Selection of incorrect qualification. We get a lot of change of qualifications when after we've approved the applications, and then it creates a lot of admin for the SETA officials to be changing the qualifications. So please try and select the correct qualification. If you're struggling with qualifications, our QA team is also available to assist in identifying the correct qualification according to the learning program. This also speaks to the change of qualification post-contracting. TVET colleges applying for will without contracted host employers. I think I touched on this in one of my previous slides. That TVET colleges need to have the MOA with the host employers. Proof of accreditation that is not compliant, and non-submission of compulsory compliance document, last-minute attempt to apply for funding. The discretionary grant application closing date is the 14th of November 2025. Please take note that Office hours are from 8 to 4:30. So please kindly try by all means to submit during the office hours because it is a bit difficult to assist stakeholders outside the office hours. Yes, we try, whoever is available. However, we are urging the stakeholders to please try and submit during the office hours. During the application, you can see our contact people. You can contact for each learning program, but everyone is available to assist throughout the application, regardless of the learning program you're applying for. We have several of colleagues to assist. Please take note that for the lecturer development, it is only Tabang who is available for this application, and this application is done online. I mean, manually. Everything else is online. Please do not forget to submit to press the submit button. Thank you. Corey, I think there's some hands. I think we can take questions before we move
Thank
to
you, Busi.
the next item.
Yeah, I see, especially since we're doing well with time, we can dedicate 10 or 15 minutes to questions. So if anybody does have any questions, just raise your hand and we will allow you to unmute. I think Sbosiso can come first. You can unmute and ask your question.
Okay. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. My first question is on the SDF registration. So I've registered the SDF. I want to link it with the organization. My status, it still says it's pending. I did this last week on Thursday, if not Wednesday. So how long does it take? What is needed? Number two, I saw the list of applications that needs to be done. What about the trade unions? Are you not taking trade unions this time around? Because last time you were specific to say you only wanted the trade unions that are in your MOA or in your constitution. It's in your constitution. And then the last question is on the exemption for the non-levy payers. Those one, the triple B, it does stipulate that these are non-levy payers, not really non-levy payers, but it does stipulate that these companies earn less than 10 million per annum. They are on level 1, they are EME. So doesn't that work? And where do I obtain the exemption should that not work? Thank you.
SDF. Okay. Thank you, Sbosiso, for that question. For the SDF registration, we'll share the presentation. Whoever's having challenges with the SDF registration, you'll just see under the contact details who you can get in touch with. But it's Jafta Silwane. He'll assist with the SDF approvals. Just email him and then he will check. And then the other question was the trade union. I forgot to mention that trade union is also open, but the applications are manual. So the application form is on our website. If you are struggling to download it or see it on the website, please get in touch with us and then we'll email you the application. And then with the exemption, we want proof of exemption. SARS offers proof of exemption. We want proof of exemption that confirms that you are exempted from paying levies. We do not want the triple BE one. We want the one that confirms that you are exempted from paying levies. I think I've responded to all 3 questions.
I see Spusiso is happy with the answer. He gave a thumbs up. Siobhan, you can come in next.
Hi, my question regards accreditation for QCTO. On the advert, it says that if you are applying for QCT qualifications, who are awaiting QCTO accreditation must provide verifiable evidence that they are in the process of obtaining accreditation for the relevant qualification. So if you've already had your desktop evaluation, you have your form and you're awaiting a site visit, because those are that is where the huge holdup is with QCTO sending people out for the site visits. Are we then okay to apply for those accreditations? Because obviously we still have legacy qualifications, and we don't want to apply for the QCTO qualification and then put the client at risk of not getting funding. That's a first question. And the second question, we normally have NPOs in the food beverage sector that apply and have been funded in these windows. I see there is no space on the advert for NPOs. Are NPOs exempt from applying in this window? That would be my second question. The third question is, who would be the person to assist us with regards to a WSP? We had a problem with the WSP submission through the system, and then we were asked to submit manually. Obviously, we have proof of that submission manually. The WSP was not approved, which is not an issue for the client. But however, if it's a need for our DG grant to be approved, then we would then need to obviously take the matter up with regards to it being submitted, and we need that proof for the DG grant, and who would be the person in charge of assisting us there. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. I'm not sure if Llewellyn is on the line to assist with the QCTO question and the qualification and the accreditation.
Yes, I'm here.
Can we ask?
Yes,
Okay.
he is. Llewellyn is here.
Yes, and then I'll take the other 2 questions.
Okay. Llewellyn?
Okay, thank you, colleagues. Yes, so with regards to the QCTO accreditation, the Food Bev CETA has discussed with the QCTO that we can provide a recommendation letter for Food Bev quals that an applicant is still busy with their accreditation process. The recommendation letter will be issued to the SDP, provided they have completed their site visit with the recommendation status. So if you have just applied and the desktop evaluation has been done, but the site visit has not yet recommended your accreditation, unfortunately, we won't be able to provide you with the recommendation letter. So if you have done your site visit and you've completed it, and you're still waiting for the QCTO to issue your accreditation letter, in that circumstance, we can assist you with the recommendation letter that you can then use as proof of your accreditation. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Llewellyn.
In terms of you had other questions, the MPO, you can still apply. And then in terms of the WSP issue, I'm not sure when you are saying manual application, because it's always on the system. I would assume you are saying that maybe you didn't have an STL number at that time. I'm not sure. But you can contact Samuel with that one, and then we will try and engage and see where the issue is with the WSP.
Sorry, you said Samuel?
Yes, Samuel Manamela.
Samuel Manamela. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thanks, Siobhan. Tiffany, you can come through next.
Thank you, Corey. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Busisiwe. My question is related to the employed bursaries, particularly the leadership development. Historically, KWV, we applied, I think, for the last 3 years for your new management, middle management, senior management development programs that's run by University of Stellenbosch. It was approved year on year. We notice now that as part of the DG 2627 handbook provided online, that the qualifications or supported through bursaries, that leadership development or management development is not particularly mentioned on there. However, the occupation supported through bursaries lists several managers. So we have a case in our business where we have the HR manager, they have the qualification, the salesperson has his qualification, specialized in his field, but they do not necessarily have the management development piece. Does this DG application exclude leadership development courses, not postgrad or undergrad or third years? I just wanted clarity on that because the SAQA qualification for SMDP, NMDP, and MDP has also expired. So there's no option on your SIMS portal besides a Bachelor of Leadership that we can apply for, but that's a full-on qualification, which is not the direction we usually go in our company. I'm not sure if I'm quite clear with what I'm asking.
Thank you, Tiffany. We have not excluded the MDPs. The challenge that we're having is the SAQA issues. So we can try and look at it under the bachelor's management one, but please engage with me. Please email me so that we can check something. I want to check something with Solid Growth as well so that we can check which qualification is there under the management development programs.
Okay, that makes complete sense. I definitely do that. And then just the last one, Busisiwe, on the same handbook, the 2627 DG handbook, there's a list of qualifications there. Are those, and I'm confused, what are those just new qualifications on the food bev, or are we only allowed to apply for learnerships for those specific qualifications for learnership funding? I'm not sure if that's clear, but I'm trying to put a snippet in the chat. So on the handbook, it literally just has a heading, list of QCTO qualifications, sorry. And then there's what about 20 there? Are those the ones we restricted to apply for learnership funding?
Tiffany, those are the ones that what's this? The food based SETA qualifications. You're not restricted. You can apply for other SETA qualifications if they have the accreditation. Llewellyn, please correct me if I'm wrong. And then the skills program that are developed these are the only 3 that we have under food based SETA.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thanks so much, Busi.
Thanks, Tiffany. We'll take the next question from Errol. Errol, you can come through. Errol, if you are speaking, your mic is muted.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Corey. It's Errol here from Ekurhuleni East Ewart College. I've got 2 questions. The first question, the company that we place the apprentices with, can we have a SLA with them or must it be a MOA? The first question. The second one is the trade test. You indicated that the trade test, it must be accredited for trade test. That means the trade test that the center that we're going to use for trade test, that document we must submit when we do the application. That's the only 2 questions. Thank you.
Okay. The first one, the companies that will be hosting the learners, there must be MOU between the 2 organizations. that will come with the workplace approval documentation.
That's clear. Okay. And the trade test?
You were saying the trade test center, you need to upload the accreditation.
Yeah. Must we upload
Yes.
accreditation of the trade test center that we're going to use?
Yes. That also assists us when we applying for your certificates, because some of these these documents are documents that we use when we sending the applications to NAM for your Red Seal certificate. So we need all these documents provided prior so that we mitigate the delays in processing the application for the certificate.
And if we use NAM as the trade test center?
Will the learners be trade tested at NAM?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Errol. I see next we have a hand from Njabulo Learning. You can come through and ask.
Hi, thank you. This is Lisha from Injabulo Learning. My first question is that last year when we applied, our name as trading provider was not on the drop down on the system. We of course sit with another CETA in terms of accreditation. Do we need to put through a manual application to be added to that drop down list? That's the first thing. The second is a program that we are running with a client has already started. Are we still able to apply for that funding? Because we didn't know when the funding window was going to open. So the client has just started the program in August. And then last question, when is feedback on this particular window due? Thank you.
Luann, can you assist with the provider question? I'll take the last two.
Yeah, sure. So with the list of providers was put through, it was accredited providers against food theft programs, and I think that list is quite dynamic. It's always changing. So when I get to my presentation, I'm just going to show all of the colleagues where to find the absolute latest list of all the providers that are accredited. And I'll also share, where to find it and where to download it so that everyone has the latest list. Because that list is so dynamic, it's always changing. It's not always going to be 100% accurate. So, yeah, that's why it's always important to attend these workshops so that I can show you exactly where to find your list of accredited training providers. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. And then in terms of the the program that has already started, unfortunately, you cannot apply for that. You can only what's this? We can only fund the program that has started if it was in the applicable financial year. So this funding windows that we have opened now is for the 26-27 financial year, which starts in April. So that is next year. And then in terms of the feedback for this funding window, we are aiming to provide feedback before April next year.
Okay, thank you for that very much. Received on the second part. Llewellyn, sorry you broke up there. Can I please confirm if we are not on that list, on the latest list, do we reach out to you directly?
So it would depend on the learning program that you are going to be offering. Can you just quickly give me an idea of which program you're referring to?
Sure, we're running Legacy. It's 59201.
59201, which is?
Generic management.
That's because I think the new list is linked to the occupational programs. But I'm just trying to we'll see that list that we're talking about. Is it the list that was on the advert?
No, it was the drop down on SIMS last year of accredited providers.
No problem. Do you have my mail address?
No, but I'm sure I'll get it off your presentation. Thank you. I just wanted to confirm the channel.
You're just gonna pop me your proof of accreditation, then I can link you on SIMS so that it's there for the drop down.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So much information, everyone.
Thank you. I think we can give the floor now to Moipone. You can come through.
Good morning, colleagues. I understand that SETAs work differently, so I just wanted to understand with the applications for the TVET intern and internship and university internships, are we also allowed to apply for them, or we can only apply for the work experience internship?
You can also apply for in TVET internships. All the internships are open.
Moipone, is the answer received well, or do you still need more clarification? Your mic is
okay,
muted.
yes. So we are allowed.
Sorry, I think we lost Moipone there.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Good morning,
Thank you. I
colleagues.
got it. Thank you.
Sorry. Okay. Moipone, if you can just maybe type in the chat box your response to that. I am looking at the time. We still have a few more agenda items, so we're just going to try and move through these questions quickly. But if we do go over the time, we'll have to answer some in the chat box. I think we can give the floor to Mbuso. Mbuso, you can come through. Mbuso, your mic is muted if you're speaking.
Good day, how are you, colleagues? I'm calling regarding HEI bursary unemployed. My question is that I want to know about 2025-2026 outcome, because we never had anything at all. Now, hence now we're talking about 2026-2027 financial year, right? Firstly, I need to know about 2025-2026 because I don't have anything in my side, any feedback or anything. And then 2026-2027 financial, that advert that you have for the same one. Firstly, usually we get the advert which tells the student what degree they need to, which one they need to apply, which course they are doing. And then we get the list, because the student, they apply through us, and then we submit to Foodbell. We get the list, which we fill all the details of the student, which go the supporting document. And then what's the requirement for parent side? What they need zero, start from zero, or they need to start from 350. All those things we don't have. Can you able to share with us all this in the advert and everything, so that you can start process to invite the student to apply? Thanks.
Okay, Mbuso, we will do so. The advert is on the website. However, we will share with the institution. Please communicate with the colleagues who are on the on the list. You will see who's responsible for bursaries, and they'll be able to share the list, the advert, and whatever information that you need. In terms of communication for the previous in terms of communication for the previous application, are you talking about the one that closed?
Colleagues, please can we mute our mics? There is an echo coming through in the background. Please can we all mute our mics? Thank you. Busi, you can carry on.
Thank you, Corey. I know that we have bursaries that we closed not so long ago. They are currently under evaluation and will communicate soon. But the other DG window for all the other learning programs, we had already communicated, I think around June, from June actually. We communicated the outcome either approved or rejected. So the bursaries that the second funding window that we had for the bursaries will still communicate because those are still under evaluation.
Sorry, boss. Because the last
Yeah.
time when I called a couple of months back, they said the food bank will issue the awarded letter. Until today, we never had anything at all.
Okay. Can you please email me and then I will check where your application is at.
Okay. And then because the contact person for us is calling, but I believe it's not at work or something like that. But it's too difficult to get the information. That's another thing. Unless if you can task this thing to other person who can able to help us because we are stuck somewhere. And then other thing, the student now they're busy writing the exam. It's the end of the year. It's gonna be difficult to get hold of them.
Okay, can you please get in contact with me or I will contact you. You've left your contact details on the chat.
Okay,
And
I'll
then
do that.
we will try and check your application and provide you with feedback.
Yeah, because even now there was student coming in. You want to ask something regarding that, but it's fine. I'll contact with you both. Thanks very much.
Okay, we've also taken your details. We'll contact you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Mbuso. Busi and our LPSP colleagues, can I just ask, while we address these questions from the hands raised, can we just answer some of the questions in the chat box on the side? And then the next question is from Vulenda. You can come through.
Good morning. Thank you for the time. I wanted to ask about the system money. I was trying to apply the DG, and then it required me to confirm the details first. When I wanted to confirm the contacts, then I inserted my email. Then it said system error. I should contact the system administrator. I don't know what might have occurred.
Okay, can we request that all system issues be parked till the end because we're gonna demonstrate the system today as well, so that you'll be able to see, you'll probably see why you got the error and how you fix the error. So can everyone who has any system issue park their question until the very end of the session?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Busi. Yeah, I agree with that. The last agenda item is a system demonstration and training, and we will take questions after that. So if your question is regarding that, if you can just allow us to get to that part. Otherwise, let's get to the next question. I think we can let Natalie come in. Natalie, you can come through.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I basically just want to echo a major and ongoing concern around the submission of documentation for registration, particularly around certification and the validity of that when it runs out of time by the time it gets to a registration point. And I know a few of my clients are online, and I do this on behalf of them and obviously ourselves as the STP. So we know the problem is that, you enroll, you submit all your documentation, and by that time, all your certification is well within the 3 months. And by the time registration happens, which is down the line, 2, 3, 4 months, that becomes invalid, and now we sit with this nagging ongoing problem where learners have to go back to wherever to get certification. They either do it in their own time, spend lots of money traveling there, or they have to do it during company time, and the clients are they feel that it's a huge challenge and a disturbance into the business. So my question is, now that we know it's been going on for years, what is the food-based sector doing in terms of a proactive plan to make sure that we curb or narrow down on this
Ne ke nyaka to
disturbance?
find out from you.
Hello?
Sorry, Natalie, someone else's mic was unmuted.
So now I'm basically done. See, I was just wanting to find out, so what is the food-based sector going to do to ensure that with this not reoccurring, and we're actually still sitting with this problem right now?
Okay, sorry, Natalie, you wanted to continue?
No, so I don't know. Did you get the context? Because basically I was just
Yes,
saying.
I got.
Yes.
I wanted to respond.
Oh, okay. No, thank you very much. I'm listening then. Thank you.
Natalie, firstly, we'll apologize for whatever frustrations that we've caused you throughout the years, as you are saying. Please take notes that the team is trying all the best to service everyone and assist all the stakeholders timelessly. The mistakes that have happened, we have taken note of those and we have noticed those. So we are trying as a CETA to try and digitize the processes so that we mitigate such issues of documents going back and forth, getting rectified or missed, or all those things. We are automating our systems. We're in the pipeline, but we have not finalized everything. So we're looking at things that will make the work easier, because you must understand that CETA does not, food-based CETA does not have regional offices. So we service stakeholders from all the provinces in the country. So it is a bit difficult to have our work spotless, but we are aiming at doing that. Hence, we are now trying to find better ways of working so that we can mitigate all these minor issues that frustrate our stakeholders.
Lucy, thank you for your response.
Okay.
Sorry.
Can we also give Mr. Mkiti a second to say something?
Thanks, Bosi, for giving me a second to say something. Good morning, colleagues. For those who don't know me, I'm Sina Mkiti, the General Manager at Food-based CETA. Thanks for what you have just raised. Natalie, it's a point that we really looking forward to make sure that it is fully addressed. But just to indicate, one of the things, and members, you'll see when we do the systems training, the other document that you will be required to load is the document implementation plan. So what will be happening now going forward, when you are being issued with the award letter, remember in the past, the award letter would say within 7 days or within 3 or 7 days, you must respond whether you accept the allocation, and it will indicate that within so many days you must do your contract, it must be signed. But most importantly, as you load your implementation plan, it is important that you make sure that you somewhat, you know your business processes, that you align your implementation plan with your business processes, such that when we now sign contracts, it shouldn't be ideal that all the stakeholders will sign to say the contract around April. And practically, we cannot process all the registrations around May, June, July if we are to do that within 60 days. So what will be happening now, each contract will be aligned to your implementation plan. So meaning that as part of the allocation as well, just something just to emphasize, there will be a stakeholder who says we'll implement from May, we'll do our registrations. The other one will say we will do our implementation from August. So in other words, your contract will be aligned to your implementation plan. Why is that important? Because that will ensure that the volumes of the registrations documentation that we received is not that huge, and we are able, and the team is able to go through and process it accordingly. So that is what is important. But also, just to provide a caution that this implementation plan should be realistic. For instance, one would understand that for the implementation, of course, let's say of the workplace graduates, normally if you do take the learners who would have completed in the next financial year, it's highly likely that your implementation for those ones will be, let's say, in January of the following year. So what I'm saying, your implementation plan should be detailed, and so that when we do the contract, we should be able to align it to each program. You might find out that you'll implement your learnerships from July, but in your implementation plan, if you have also applied for workplace graduates or internships, you must align it according to the time where it is conducive for you to implement those. So I think that's another over and above the issue of automation that Busi has talked about. It is important that going forward, we will be aligning the implementation plan with the contract. So whatever now you will be loading, it's very important that it's clear and well detailed. And what we'll be doing when we sign, for instance, we issue the award letters, first thing you will still have to confirm if your implementation plan is still as is. And then if it has changed, you will communicate with the SETA the actual or the updated implementation plan, which obviously should be agreed upon by the SETA to say, no, it is fine. And yeah, I think in that way, we will be able to resolve some of the issues that relates to registration matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mgidi. I think that question is answered. I don't see a hand. I think we can move on to the next question. Thabiso, you can come through.
Hi. Apologies. Good morning, Ricardo. Yeah, my hand was raised during
Sorry.
Mr. Mgidi. Yes.
Sorry, Ricardo. Are you responding to what Mr. Mgidi said? Because there is other people who had their hands up first.
Yes, now you can give the other answer opportunity, but yes, it's definitely just a question and a response to.
Ricardo, we lost you there. I think you.
Hi, sorry. Now you can give the other participants a chance that was raised their hands before me, but I definitely wanted to just come in terms of the information now shared about implementation plans.
Mr. Mgidi, do you wanna let Ricardo respond to you now, or?
Yes, Ricardo, if it's just only related to what I've just said.
Okay.
Hi, morning, Sanaya. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, now just we've been getting just some audit findings almost from implementation plans, which we never did. And I think what you have said now, that changes and that actual dates and so forth, I feel that we didn't get any of that comms over the last few days or months with the queries that are being put forward to us. And I had a conversation with one of the FPs
staff members just to ask to give me specifics, because what we do as a SDP in terms of the implementation plan, it is aligned with obviously your discretionary grant window. However, very specific in terms of when that rollout will happen, even if it is multiple training interventions, SP or LPs for a certain client and a site. And I couldn't understand why the questions or why it's being thrown out. And yes, and not just for us, I think it's such a important and critical step now, or change almost, that I'm not sure is jointly from Food BFC or QCTO, that I feel that that must be a workshop for all the SDPs involved, and not to have any delays. Like I mentioned, we have just earlier in this year, we had a implementation plan that was acceptable, fine, because like I said, for us, we look at all the components of how a training or intervention will happen, from your orientation, engagement with learners, and those dates are in our implementation plan. And I couldn't understand why they were saying that it's not valid, other than maybe Food Bev that's using a 2025-26 implementation plan now for the client for 2026-27. But what I'm asking, if we can then just have a session, a proper session around the dates and what you are mentioning, that can be potential obstacles for approval, DG approvals or contract approvals, etc.
Thanks for your follow-up clarity-seeking question. The issue of implementation plan, number one, it will differ from one company to another. That's the first point. And I think there was also another question earlier, or comment made, to say stakeholders might not be knowing exactly when are we intending to get the feedback and so forth. So what will be happening post the closure of this discretionary grant window, when the evaluation starts, a communication will be shared with all the applicants, just in respect of when exactly will the feedback be provided to the stakeholders. But in respect of any other workshops that are SDP related or require information which is more specific to the SDPs, obviously Llewellyn or our QA, they do conduct on a quarterly basis the QCTO related type of capacity sessions. And I would suggest that it's important that you participate in there, so that all the other issues that you might be having in respect of implementation and other areas, those might be covered in those sessions.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ricardo. Tabiso, you can come in.
Okay, good morning. Thank you very much, Pussy. I just want to ask regarding the T numbers. I joined a little bit later. Do we apply for T numbers yearly? Because previously I applied for few organizations. So I just want to find out, do we apply for T numbers every financial year? Thank you.
Thank you, Tabiso. No, you do not apply for T numbers every financial year. You use the very same T number to apply.
Okay, thank you very much, because I just logged into the system, so I don't find any linked organization that I was linked with. But maybe I'll definitely come to your offices just for clarity. Thank you.
Thanks, Tabiso. Bongi Nkosi, you can come through.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. Mine will be short. I just want to find out if the private SDPs stroke private trade test centers are allowed to apply for apprenticeships. The second one would be that we have a client that is a levy paying entity to the Food Bev SETA. submitted WSPs over the past 3 years, never really participated on the DG processes. The company itself falls into the wholesale and retail sector, as it were. Would they qualify to implement for funding if they were to implement a training program that is quality assured with a different SETA that is aligned to their scope of business? Thank you.
Busi, your mic is muted. Busi?
Sorry, Corey, the mic was giving us problems. So, if I get your question properly, you want to apply as a company that pays levies at wholesale and retail SETA, but you want to apply with food based SETA.
No, we're paying the levies to the footwear of SETA, but we fall under the wholesale and retail. So it's basically a retail shop.
Okay, as long as your levies are at food based SETA, you can apply with food based SETA.
Thank you, Musa. But the question mainly revolves around the qualification. We would be implementing a qualification, a legacy qualification that is quality assured under the wholesale and retail SETA. Would that be allowed?
Yes, if I may assist on that one, it depends. If the qualification for which you are applying is in the spoiled list, that is in the list of qualifications which are in demand by the food SETA, yes, it will be. But if it is not linked by any way to our sector, is not applicable in the spoiled list, a spoiled list which you will see on our sector's list plan, then it will not be approved.
Understood. Thank you.
It must be remember, our qualifications must respond to our sector. So it must be a qualification which is in the sector priority occupational intervention list. It must be in that list. If it's in that list, fine, you can apply for it.
Okay, understood. I'm not sure if you got my other question around the private STPs stroke private trade test center, if we can apply for apprenticeship programs.
Okay, let me assist on that one. You will see in the advert, it will indicate to say which institutions or what type of organizations can apply. So it will say government organizations, food SETA levy and non-levy paying companies, and then public entities like the university and so forth. So if the category that you want to apply for is in that list, yes, you can. I think there is about 6 or 7 categories which has been outlined in terms of who is eligible to apply for discretionary grants at food SETA.
Corey, can I ask that because of time, can we allow the program to run and then we'll take all the questions at the end, because we have booked Tepi and we might not be able to finish if we go with the questions. We'll respond to all the questions. We're just asking that we pack them until the very last end of the session.
Sorry, I think that is not fair because our hands are up. You give time till 1 o'clock. So you could have expected that there's going to be a lot of questions, right? So My hand is long up here, and I may lost my question in the meantime. So please, man, let's not shift the things. Let's do it as you guys plan it. Thank you.
Sorry,
Okay.
Gerald. Sorry, Busi. Gerald, we do take notes of your request. The questions for this actual slot was supposed to be ending at 11:30. So we do have, I think, literally 7 more minutes. So Busi, what is your response to that?
You can allow Gerald. I was just saying that because there is a lot of changes on the system, we do not want Tepi now to be disadvantaged or not be able to demonstrate the system fully. We've only booked her up until 1 o'clock, and she has other commitments after that. So we can take the questions up until past. And then we are not saying we'll not take any of the questions or not respond to any of the questions. We'll respond to all of the questions.
Okay, I see somebody has removed all the hands that were there. I see, okay, we have a hand from Renee now. We're going to take questions until exactly 11:30. That was the time slot for the questions to end. So there is an order there. It'll be Renee, Katleho, and then Gerald. But at 11:30, guys, please, we need to move on with the program. But just before that, can I just ask, Llewellyn, if you're still here, Solid Growth has requested if they can please present before you. Is that fine with you?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, thank you. Renee, you can come through.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm Renee, Governor from Southern Oil. To FoodBev, thank you so much for hosting this. I'm still fairly new. This is my 3rd year applying for DGs with FoodBev CETA, so whatever support that you guys give us is incredible. My 2 questions are with regards to the Sims portal. I know that we are going to get into that a bit later, but I don't necessarily find errors. But whenever I do my DG application, I upload my supporting documents on there and I submit my application and I think it's fine. It doesn't give me an error. But then the consultants that's assisting FoodBev CETA will then contact me and ask me the same documents that I've already submitted with my application. And then sometimes I find that they ask me for the same supporting documents more than once. And then also in the time frame that they start with the verification of the applications, it's usually in December. And that's when most of us go and leave. So usually I keep my laptop with me because I saw in the last 2 years with my DG applications that that's when the CETA or the consultants would then assist you guys. So that's the first question. I'm not too sure if everyone else is experiencing the same issues that I'm experiencing, where they will upload their supporting documents, but then they find that the consultants that's checking or part of the verification process will now request for those same documentation. Then the second question is not really relevant to, I don't know if it's relevant to this right now, but I just need it to be addressed. I really need help with it, is that our workplace approval with FoodBev CETA for millwrights. I have emailed, I think it's Tulani that's supposed to be assisting me. I think it's now been a month and a half, almost 2 months. And we already have apprentices that's placed on the millwright programs, not funded by FoodBev CETA, but they are funded by industry. So I just really need someone to assist me with that, with the workplace approval for the artisans or for the millwrights and apprentices and those type of things.
Ravi. But you haven't started.
I just want to jump in quickly for the workplace approval for the artisans. So yes, Tulani needs to appoint a moderator to ensure that the work. Sorry, can you just mute Joseph?
Joseph, please can you mute your mic? Thank you. Sorry, Llewellyn.
So yeah, so Tulani needs to do the appointment for you. If you don't mind, if you can just send me that information so that I can just follow up. I'm sure the appointment has been made. We just need to get confirmation from the the moderator on their availability. But just pop me a mail so that we can just give you feedback on that one. Thank you.
Thanks, Llewellyn.
Thank you,
Just to
Renee.
add on, to add on it quickly, colleagues, if there's something we are not getting joy, then maybe there's a query that is taking over, it is not responded to. Please just find out from the person you are dealing with to say who is he or she reporting to, so that issues can be escalated. Some of the things we will not be happy to see that issues will take a month or so. Something that should have been done within a week, it takes 2 months, and it is not attended to. You, the stakeholders, are critical to our sector, and if there's something somewhere, don't escalate anything and everything. But I do say, if you don't get joy, don't hesitate to escalate to my office, please.
All right, thank you so much for that. And once again, thank you for the support. I think there is a lot of frustrated stakeholders here, but I think Foodbev CETA has really done a really good job for someone like me and Southern All that is totally new to the DG process. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Renee. We'll take Katleho, Gerald, and then Sipokazi. And then, guys, please, we need to move on. Katleho, you can come through.
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I have 3 questions. The first one, as the whole thing is including the NPOs. So I just want to know, like now we are busy changing the directors. So is it okay if we can continue as we're gonna submit the changes to the social development and so forth? That's my first question. Number 2, I just wish we can as this thing happens include NPOs, we can have someone who's in charge for only NPOs. Number 3, I don't know, I will suggest if this thing that I'm gonna say now is not in the whole thing. I just wish maybe in the future we can have something like a template. I believe others, it can be NPO or PTYs and whatever. As mostly you are having these workshops or briefing sessions. Others, I believe they don't understand other things. But if we can have a template that is directing us the way you want things to be done, it can help a lot, and it can reduce a lot of questions from us to you guys. And I believe things can be done the way you expected. Thank you so much.
Okay, I take it's some of your comments are more of the suggestions, and the team will look into, and we'll just ensure that it's something which is doable, and it will cover so that everybody can be covered. But once more, you indicated that as an NPO, whether you are in the process of changing directors and so forth, as long as the required documentation, it will be there, then you can apply. But something that I just want to emphasize with regard to the issue of NPOs, NGOs, CBOs, you will know that those, in terms of where they fall under the local government sector, but we do service them. But this is something critically important that I need to indicate. The NPOs, CBOs, they will also be operating within a specific area. Yes, some can be generic, doing anything and everything, but what is important, like I indicated earlier, that when an NPO, NGO, or CBO applies with us for funding, first thing that we'll be looking is more in terms of the scope of what they are doing. Where is it based? Is it the scope that is related to food-related areas? Is it a scope that related to the capacity in relation to beverages manufacturing, then if that is the area along which they are operating, then even if the NPOs, CPOs, they are not in our sector, we will consider them. It's something that I think I must just indicate, because if you are an NPO and your primary focus as an NPO is linked to another sector, not linked to empowering our sector, then you might not be considered. But it's something that I just felt that let me also indicate.
Thank you, Ndati. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katlego. Gerald, you can come through.
Hi, a very good day to everybody. Katlego, yes, this one is straight for Muslim Gidi.
Straight?
For Muslim
Sorry,
Gidi.
colleagues, can we please mute our mics? Gerald, you can carry on.
Muslim Gidi, just tell me one thing, man. You know, it was a time ago that you explained that the waiting period for the registration from your side of learnerships won't take too long anymore. And I you know, I can't understand, because my problem was always that we submit our contracts, we submit our plans, right? We submit everything, and then the verification take place. Now, verification take place a couple of months. Now, it seems that the provider's been punished in terms of that. Since you guys introduced a private company to do the verification, that is where the holdup started. That we wait a couple of months for the registration of learnerships by FoodWebSETA. And then at the end of the day, you guys then tell us, listen, the learners are behind schedule. I just want to answer, because the last time you said, and we were having a chat over the phone, and you said to me, it's not going to happen again. But it still happens. You know, so it's unfair. Yes, we might change our plans, but that is also within the fishing sector. We need to look at, for instance, now, yes, we can do the theory. Within the fishing sector, you get different types of operations, right? So there is this one part. Luckily now they import fish from Morocco. So that part, there is one part that we struggle with our practicals, right? Then we need to wait till January, February month. Now, I don't think that in terms of FoodWeb nowadays, taking that in cognizance, because it is a major problem where we need to wait that long for the verification problems, for the verification to take place. Can you just answer me on that, please, man? And if you guys, you know, because it's now a couple of years that you guys say, listen, no, we in the process, we're gonna correct it, FoodWeb do everything in its power. Every year is the same thing. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Griffith. You know, it was by default that I'm in this meeting. This meeting is actually for Busi, but nonetheless, I will assist, because I was just here just to get a feel of the meeting. But it's good now that I can get how stakeholders and everyone feels about other things. Let me indicate this first, Gerald, and once more, maybe two things. One part is with regard to the evaluation, adjudication, and making allocations in respect of this discretionary grant funding window, and of which for this specific one, you will note that is for implementation in 2020 from April, May 2026, 2027. So this specific one which has been open, and therefore, so the expectation, hence maybe in the past and earlier on, I did indicate that we will communicate the actual timelines in terms of when will it be finalized. But normally, you'll also agree with me that in the previously, it was concluded around February, March, and by April we start to issue the award letters and we start contracting. So these are two things. I'm just not sure how exactly does it affect the process of learner registrations. Maybe it affects it because you've got a certain plan. Because, for instance, for 2026-2027 window, there's no way you will not register learners before April because they will fall into the financial year of this year. So what I'm trying to indicate is that any evaluation which is going to happen in respect of this DG, which has opened, it will be concluded by February, and by March, then the letters are being issued for implementation from April. Then coming back specifically to your point, it will be wrong, Gerald, of either whichever party to can find that learners registration takes long. The contract, anything if it's not does not happen according to the contract, and does also not happen according to the workplace-based learning program regulations, it will be unlawful to implement it in that way. Why I'm saying that? Because, for instance, it is expected that from the day on which all your documents, correct documents, were submitted, within 30 days of that, the learners must be registered. Let me repeat myself. From the day on which all the correct documents were submitted to the SETA, in terms of the workplace-based learning program regulations, within 30 days, the learners must be registered. If anything, it doesn't happen like that, I shouldn't protect it, then there's something wrong, and it must be escalated to be corrected in that regard. So the other thing, obviously, because you have just touched on it, I'll also indicate that also the challenge is with regard to maybe stakeholders or employers taking too long maybe to recruit and submit the learner documentation. But specific to your issue of learner registration, please, if you can just maybe off the side, just forward whatever documentation that was sent to the SETA, how long did it take before you see the learners being registered on the system from the day on which you have submitted all the compliant documentation. Thanks. And obviously that one, without packing other colleagues, I would like us maybe just to focus, because the session is more about assisting stakeholders to can successfully apply on the system, and other questions which are not related to you assisting you, they are important, but I'm just appealing that those should not affect this process, because this one is precisely about capacity to assist all the stakeholders to successfully do their applications online without any challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mgidi. Out of all fairness, the last question noted was for Sipokazi. Seeing that we are 15 minutes over time, I am going to allow Sipokazi to come through. And right after, we're going to go to the system demonstration. Any other questions will be answered in the chat box. Sipokazi, you can come through quickly.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Sipokazi. I'm working for the College of Cape Town. My question is around the bursaries. I just want to check if you are catering for unemployed bursaries in the TVET colleges. Thank you very much.
Sipokazi, yes, we have unemployed bursary for TVET colleges. You apply directly with the TVET college. The TVET colleges is the one that apply for the students. So we do not take individual applications.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. I thought it was for higher education institutions, because as per your advert, it says higher education institutions. So thank you very much for that clarity. We will do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Busi and Sipokazi. We're now going to move on to the next agenda item, which is the system demonstration and training by Solid Growth. Tepi, if you're ready, you can come through. Colleagues, please, we'll take questions after the demonstration is done. Tepi, you can come through.
Morning, Corey. Thank you.
Okay, I want to start sharing. Can I get thumbs up if you are able to see my screen? Sorry, do we have thumbs up? I don't see.
All good,
Okay,
Poppy.
just
We
see.
see your screen.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate the food BevCita SIMS system, starting with the SDF registration. So the SDF registration is for the new stakeholders that do not have access to the food BevCita SIM system. And for existing stakeholders, they can always visit the system or the login page and then reset their password if it is expired. If it's valid, then they can start with the process because they are familiar with it. Right. So I'm sharing the Food BevCita website. This is the starting point where you can find the SIMS login link if you do not have it saved on your laptop or computer. So on your far top right, there's a tab called Stakeholder Portal. So if you click on it, you will be directed to the Food BevCita SIMS login screen. So on the screen, we've got 3 hyperlinks. This is the link that we are focusing on, the SDF registration. And for those that do have access to the system, but their password has expired, you can always use the forgot password and then put in your username and reset your password, right? So for SDF registration, the process is simple and straightforward. Your starting point is your SDF details. You're required to then capture your person details, your contact details, address, and education and experience before you can move on to linking your details to an organization. Hence, it is currently grayed out. So with the system, for those that have a smart ID card copy on the machine, there's no need for you to manually capture some fields like your name, surname, your ID number, date of birth, and gender. It will read from that. Just click on the upload file. This is only for smart ID cards, not the scanned green ID books. So this is an example of a smart ID card. Going to upload it, and then I'm going to click on extract file. You will notice that the fields will be populated. So just give it a few seconds to process. And here's the first name, surname. Below it has populated the ID number and the date of birth, gender, nationality, and citizen status. They read from the ID number. So if it's a valid South African ID number, then it will populate this field. So that's another way of doing it, simple way. However, if you do not have that smart ID card copy, you can manually capture the details on the system. So today it's Wednesday. Just gonna say Wednesday. The name is consultation. This is test information. I'm gonna put in a passport ID number. Date of birth, choose from the calendar and select from the years available. And it's female, equity, African, then other. Just completing the fields on the screen. Right. Another guidance is you can always click on the save button and the system will flag the fields that you need to complete in order to successfully move on to the next step. So the red flagging means that these are required fields. Okay, so I'm done with my person details. Then I'm going to move on to the contact details. It's very important that you capture the correct information on the cell phone number and email address because this system is a workflow-based system. So once you submit your SDF registration application, you will receive an email notification that will be sent to the email address captured here. So please ensure that you capture the correct email address on this field. And cell phone number should food sitter needs to be in contact telephonically with you. Then the third tab is the address details. We've got an address field. So if you can enter your location and select from the options available, because this system is integrated with Google Maps. So I'm going to enter food sitter address. 7 Westfall Road. This is the address or the location. And it has populated my physical address. And if your physical address is the same as postal address, you can use the checkbox, or if it's different, you'll have to manually capture that postal address. The fields are open for capturing. So I'm going to select the checkbox and my postal address is then populated. Then lastly on this tab is the education and experience information required by the SETA. So just select the applicable highest education from the options available and the name of accredited training provider. It's a free text. You'll have to type it in, your current occupation. If you have any comments regarding your registration, this is a free text. You can put in your comments. If there are no comments, then you can always type in none. And then highest education description, you can always put it in. However, it's not a required field. That's why it's not flagged in red. And the experience, this person has experience as an SDF trainer and as an occupation, I can indicate too. Okay. Then I'll click on save. Once all fields are captured correctly, as per the system checks, then you'll a pop-up message will display that your SDF details have been added successfully. Now the organization details tab is opened. I'm going to click on that one. And on the screen, you need to ensure that the company that you will be applying for exists on the Food BevSita database. So if you click on the plus sign, this pop-up screen will display. This is where you search for the organization. The system will then list all the organizations that exist under Food BevSita database. Let's use an L number. Limit to be saved. Search for tests. And these are the search filters. You can search with a legal name, trade name, or SDL number. And then I'll select this, test company, then okay. And then these are the following questions that you need to answer. If you're a consultant acting for employer, you can tick the box. If not, just level it as
Hold
SS.
on.
Colleagues, please can we mute our mics? Sorry, Tepi.
And then the following questions, will you perform your SDF functions in respect of, if you click on the drop down, is it a group of organization, multiple branches of an organization, multiple organization, single branch of an organization, or a single establishment? You will select the applicable option there. And then you also need to indicate your method of appointment as an SDF. Were you appointed by the employer or nominated by employees? If other, then you need to provide or capture the other method of appointment, or you were self-appointed. Right? Then lastly, second last, you need to indicate if you're primary SDF or secondary. Please note that only primary SDF will be able to apply for DG applications. This secondary is mainly for MG MG functionality. So this is primary SDF. I'm going to select the first checkbox. And then you need to upload your letter of appointment, which must be signed. Okay, let me look for my testing document. This is my signed letter of appointment. Then I'll click on save. Right, before you can close the tab or anything, please wait for the system to process your data. Once it's done, your records will be displayed on the dashboard. If you're going to be applying for multiple organizations, then you'll just repeat the same process. However, the difference will be on the organization and the questions on how were you appointed and the letter of appointment. If that letter of appointment, it consists of different company SDL numbers, you can always upload the same appointment letter as long as the company information is included in that letter of appointment. So it indicates that your status is currently pending, meaning that the Food BEFCITA team has to evaluate your application for SDF. Once you are approved, then you will receive an outcome. Then you can always click on finish to finalize the application, and you are redirected back to the login screen. I just want to show you the email to expect. It's the SDF application for registration received. So this is an acknowledgement that the SETA has received your application for SDF. And if you are approved, these are your login credentials that you need to use to log in. Your username is your ID, and the password is set as a surname for new registration. Okay. And just an FYI, I know some Outlook settings, your settings might be a bit strict or encrypted. So please check your spam folders or your junk emails, because the emails will come from no reply system account, this domain. So if it doesn't come directly into your inbox, just make sure that you check your deleted items, your spam and junk emails, because it might be flagged as a malicious email. Right, so that is how the SDF process works. And from now on, assuming that the users or the stakeholder is now have access to the system, I'm going to log on to the system, and the role that I'm going to use is the primary SDF role, and click on next. Right. Then on the main menu, on your far top left, we've got your dashboard, you've got skills and DG. So because this is a DG window, our focus will be on DG module. And on the DG module, the company that you are approved for will be displayed on the screen. And you can always click on that line record and click on the pencil to open the information. So please pay attention to the rules that I'm going to mention to avoid being frustrated when you try to create DG applications. Rule number 1 is that you need to confirm the company information. So please make sure that when you start with the process, check your company information, check the number of permanent employees. These are the changes that we've made. We now have a field called number of permanent employees. Previously, it was number of employees. So the SETA would like to know the number of permanent employees in the organization, and also the number of temporary employees. This is a numeric field, therefore you cannot leave it blank as is. So if there are no temporary employees, just put in 0, otherwise capture the record of temporary employees. And also the organization size, it reads from your number of permanent employees. Okay. And also check your contact details if they're still valid for this company. And then once you are done, you can click on save. Then the organization details are saved successfully with the confirm button checked. If this is not checked, you will not be able to create the DG forms, it will throw you an error that you need to confirm organization details first. Then we have a contact tab where you can add the contacts for that organization. This is the screen that you need to complete, or the fields. Once you've completed, you can click on save. And for existing contacts, you can always let us know. If this contact is no longer with the SETA, we can always remove this, the company, we can remove that record for you. All right, then before we move on to the DG applications, I'm just gonna go through the rules that have been put in place again that talks to the DG application or creation of the forms. So rule number 1 was the confirming of organization details. Rule number 2 is under document uploads. You need to ensure that you upload the documents against the applicable financial year. So the window is open for 26-27 financial year. Please ensure that you capture the correct or select the correct financial year. Under document uploads, we've got templates available. This is a new template. Those that have been submitting their discretionary grant forms, you'd notice that this was not there last year, but this is also one of the changes that have been implemented. It talks to the research bursaries. So we've got the pivotal planned template and the pivotal actual template. So for each year, you do not upload it once and say, I uploaded this last year, then I don't need to upload it this year. No, it's a new financial year, then you need to upload it again. So you first need to download the pivotal plan template. These templates are downloaded in Excel, and also the pivotal actual template. Right? So once the information is all here and you are ready to upload those templates, you come back to this document uploads, and then do not select the intervention type. These templates can be uploaded under the general documents. So you select the financial year, and under document type, we have the pivotal plan, document type, and the pivotal report. Okay. So pivotal plan, as you can see for this company, we only have the previous year uploads. So if it's not uploaded for 25-26, if I go to DG application and click on create for this financial year, it will not allow me to create. So this is not a system error, it's a system check that you need to upload both pivotal plan and pivotal report before you can upload or before you can create the DG application forms. Okay. So I'm going to navigate back to document uploads, select the 26-27 financial year and pivotal plan document type, then upload that. Say testing documents. Okay, then that's done. So now the 26-27 is uploaded, pivotal plan. Then to check if you've uploaded for pivotal report, just select that document tab, and my pivotal report is here for that financial year. Right. So then for documents that talks to the interventions, all right, I will get to these ones. However, let's go to DG application. Okay, so this is the DG application screen. First, you select the financial year. If I select 25-26, the system retains all the forms that I have created for that financial year. And this is the DG status. It's very important that you check your DG status if you have submitted that form and you're done with it, right? So before we get to the forms and creation of forms, to download an authorization page, you need to click on that intervention or program. For example, the work experience. Going to click on this one and then click on print authorization pages. Right, so we've got a status and last run. So the last time I ran this print authorization, or the last time I printed it, was on the 13th of October. So you click on generate report and then give it some time. Just click on check progress and then click on download file. Right. So this is the print authorization form. So do not be confused if it's blank like this. The print authorization form will only show data if you have submitted those forms. Let me try and go back to, okay, what's my, sorry, I've got so many links open. Let's submit this one just to show you the difference. This is unemployed internship. Got so many tabs open. Right. If I go back to the dashboard, you'd notice that my status is now changed to submitted. I've submitted the form, and then now to sign that print authorization, I need to select the form and click on print authorization, generate report, check progress, and then click on download. And here's the information that I have captured against that internship program. Then you sign it off. After signing it off, then you can go back to the system under DG document uploads. Okay. Financial year. And then click on authorization pages, then upload that signed authorization page. So for all the programs that you're going to submit for, you need to upload a signed authorization form under this document upload, so that when the consultants start with their verification, they do not have to query the submission made because you did not upload the signed authorization form for that particular program. So if you're submitting for 15, if you're submitting for like 7 programs listed under the DG window, then you need to ensure that for all 7 submitted forms, you download those signed authorization forms and sign them off. Navigate to the section and then upload it. So you can upload to the signed authorization form more than once. It does allow that. Yeah. Okay, so we have uploaded our pivotal plan. We've confirmed the organization details. Authorization form is also uploaded. I've showed you how to upload the signed authorization form and also how to get that from the system. So now to create an application, those that are new, click on the plus sign. And then the system defaults to that financial year. The grant tab is learning programs, and these are the programs that are available for this window. For example, there is no skills program unemployed because it's not funded for this window. That's why the option is not here. But we do have other changes. The bursary form has now been split into 3 forms, and the forms are different when you get to them. We've got bursaries employed form, we've got bursaries research and innovation, and we've also have bursaries unemployed. So they have been split. So you select the applicable intervention type and then click on save. Right. So if it says organization DG application successfully created, but you don't see anything, it's because of the financial year. So you need to tell the system that you want to see all the forms you created for this particular financial year, so that it doesn't display 25-26 financial year mixing with 26-27. financial year. So to avoid confusion, we've made a filter here that you need to select that applicable financial year, and it only lists those applications that you've created. Okay, so let's look at the work experience. Okay. All right, so
Sorry,
again,
colleagues.
27th of May.
I see Jabulile, your mic is on. Please, can you mute your mic?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that, Tsepi. You can carry on.
Thank you. Okay. So this is the work experience for university graduate. Again, I've clicked on the add button so that I can check the fields that are required before I can move on to save the details. All right. So I have prepared some of the data here for time because we need to save time. So this is the information that I've captured against this form. So the generic change that has been done in all programs, and Busi has touched on it. I think someone asked the question that if they have already started with the program, can they apply funding for that? And yeah, this is what Busi was referring to. On the start date, we have grayed out the back button, so you will not be able to navigate to months before April 2026. So the start date is only between this. Your start date of the program must be between 1 April and 30 June. So you cannot go beyond 30 June. So your start date of the program must be between these months. So it's not a system error to say I can't use the arrows. I can't go beyond June, or I can't select the months prior April. That is a system check that has been put in place. The start date, you can only put in a start date between April and June. This is generic, or it's standard across all forms. And then there's a field also added, a name of mentor, which is a required field. Let me cancel and click on it. The new changes again, we've got the name of mentor. Then you also need to indicate your mentor highest qualification and the mentor learner ratio. You need to select between 1 and 4 and 1 and 6, and also the learner absorption rate on completion. This is a percentage based. You can select you can type in to say 10%, 20 or 50 and put in that percentage sign. It will allow that. So those are the changes that we've been made. And once you've completed all the required fields here and you've uploaded the documents, you can click on submit. But if the documents are not uploaded, the system will flag for you what documents you need to upload in order to successfully submit that. So this is a standard check for all forms, whether it's a learnership, it's a skills program, a bursary. So you need to take note of this message that a motivational letter for learners behind schedule, letter of intent between host employer and applicant, and implementation plan. It's a required, these are required documents for this particular program, which is work experience. It differs from one program to another. We can look at the public TVET placement. Same thing. It will display a message that you need to upload the motivational letter for non-hard to fill vacancies. This is mainly because I've answered with no on does the qualification address the hard to fill vacancies in the SSP. If you answer no, then you need to upload that motivational letter. It's also stated on the form itself that you have selected a non-hard to fill vacancy. You have selected a non-hard to fill vacancy. Please upload that motivational letter under document uploads before submitting. All right. But if I say yes, then the list of hard to fill vacancies will display. Please take note of that. The list has also been updated from what was here last year. So these are the 10 options that you can choose from. Also generic across all forms that have the hard to fill vacancy list, the list will be the same. Okay. Then I will look at I'm looking at the forms with changes inside. The bursary forms, as I've mentioned, that they've been split into 3. So this is the bursaries unemployed, and under bursary type, you can only select the employed one. It's employed. All right, and previously the start and end date of bursary was kept at 13 months. So that rule has been uplifted. You can put in a start date between 1 April 2026, which is the funding window, and put in your end date that is different. So it no longer caps you, because initially last year it would say that the start and end date must be within 13 months period. And then we have bursaries employed, and then we also have research and innovation. So research and innovation, you'd notice that the form is different. We have a program types where you can indicate this is for masters, and also search for the institution and indicate the number of learners. Start date, as I've mentioned, anything between April 2026 and 2026 April and 30 June 2026. That's the only difference. And then the bursary type, it will default to research and innovation. So for research and innovation, before you can upload this, well, before you can submit the form, I click on submit. These are the documents that you are required to upload. The additional documents added is the research bursary topics and tax clearance certificate and levy confirmation letter. These are required documents for research bursaries. And to get this research bursary topics, it can be found under document upload. You go to document upload, this is the template. If you click on the research bursary topics template, the system will download that in Excel. And to start capturing, you can click on enable editing. And if this is for PhD, you can complete the PhD sheet. And then if it's for masters, just focus on masters. Once you are done, save it on your machine, navigate back to the system, select the financial year, and select the research bursaries. Under document type, then you'll find the research bursary topics. And this is where you can upload that research bursary topic template, a completed one. Please make sure it's completed, and then you can click on save. It will be saved on the dashboard. Okay, so that's how you upload this new template. It's only under research bursaries, and in other document types, obviously tax clearance certificate, you need to have that at hand, and also the levy confirmation letter, you need to have that at hand. And then employed bursaries, we've added a learner list. It's a required document type. So the SETA does require this before you can upload. Otherwise, you will not be able to submit your employed bursaries form if you did not upload this new document type uploaded or added on the system. Okay. Let me create another application. Then I put internships. Research, internship. Okay. Okay, so internship changes is the duration. Previously, we only had the 12 months option. So the 6 months option has been added by the SETA. And from your start date, let's say my start date is 1 April 2026. I'll try and capture the fields. Number of learners, I'll say 2. Number of learners to assist 2. Duration is 6 months. So as you can see, the system has already calculated my end date based on the duration.
Today lunch at my German university.
Another picture.
Sorry, Mitchell, can you please mute your mic?
Right, so the system does calculate your end date based on the duration selected. However, you can always change that, but it cannot be less than 6 months. So let's say I'm going to select June 2. Just gonna answer the questions. Yeah. Okay, and the gender breakdown. My number of learners must always match the gender breakdown in all forms. This is a standard rule. So number of learners is 2. Let's say 1. And click on them. Then the system will throw this message that the end date cannot be less than 6 months. So that's one of the rules that have been implemented. So please take note of that. I think, yeah, but I think I've covered most of the changes or all the changes that we have implemented. Other than that, the system will guide the stakeholders, like in terms of the, after capturing the forms, let me capture this a yet. The date. And date. Okay. The rules are here. Date range should be within 13 months. All right. So my start date is 1 April 2026. And then my end date, I selected 29 October 2027, which is more than the 13 months. So I need to change that to April 2027. And I can make it 1 April 2027 and click on Add. Then my record is successfully added. So what I was about to say is all the rules that have been implemented, you'll be guided with a message on the screen. So just take note of the message. If you do not understand what the message means, then you can always contact the SETA, then will be able to provide guidance on that and help you submit. And yeah, if I click on submit button, I'm also guided on the documents that I need to upload before I can click on the submit button for this aid intervention. All right. And then once you are done, and I have uploaded your authorization form, and I can show you that another confirmation that you can use is on the no reply. As I've mentioned, that this system is workflow based. All submitted applications, you get a notification that you have successfully submitted. So if
Hello? Sorry, am I the only person hearing an echo?
Sorry, I think you are. Maybe you can just try rejoining. But please can we mute our mics, guys, and let the presenter finish her presentation. Tepi, you are muted. I think you're speaking.
I think I've been muted. Okay, I was saying that all submitted applications, the system does send out a workflow or email notification to the approved primary SDF. So secondary SDF role cannot create these forms. You will only end on the screen, but you will not be able to go further as to viewing and submitting application. So you need to ensure that the role that you are logged in with is primary SDF and not secondary or stakeholder role. That role is no longer applicable. So we use the primary SDF role. And if the window is still open and you have some changes to make on the system, you can always communicate that to the SETA. Give them your SDL number. This is very important as it's a unique identifier. For example, we have so many into food records on the system as an example, or we have appetizer companies. We can have appetizer limited or P2Y Ltd. So it's very important that you provide an SDL number when you send out a query to the SETA. And also if it's submitted, you can also provide the submission number of that form that you have submitted. And we can always go onto the system and open that for you. Currently, you will not be able to do that. It's a permission based function. Only internal solo growth consultant will be able to assist you with it so that you are able to make any changes that you'd like to make. But this can only be done once the window is still open. If the window is closed, then yeah, hence we shouldn't wait for lastminute.com to start with SDF registration and then capturing of these DG forms to avoid frustrations, because even on the last day, the system might experience slowness due to the volume of users and applications being made on the system. So yeah, Corey, that is all from my side. I think you can now open the floor for questioning and see how best I can assist. Thank you.
Thanks, Tepi. Thank you for that demonstration of the system training. If there are any questions, we will take some. You can just raise your hand and then we'll call them out in order. I see we do have a hand here from Davana. Fatuani Emmanuel, you can come through. I'm not sure if you're speaking because your mic is muted. Okay, I'm just gonna assume that's an old hand. Karin, you can come through.
Oh, okay.
Karin? Okay, I'm going to assume that's also an old hand then. Lupumulo, you can come through.
Good morning, colleagues. So from my side, I just have a question. My question is, when we're going through the system, I can see that we're limited from the period of April until June. But when Mr. Mgidi was speaking, he spoke about us being the one to give the dates. So I just wanted to find out whether what happened, what's going on there. Thank you.
Um, I can answer that. April is to address the financial year because it starts in April. And then June, if we have awarded the companies in February, we would have then given the approval contract, and you must take in mind that there's that clause in the contract that stipulates the turnaround times in terms of learner registration, submitting documents. So we foreseeing that by June we would have submitted or received all the documentation, and then should then implementation be at a later stage after June, I think that will only affect the companies who would have requested extensions. Also, taking in mind that there's legacy qualifications that also affect the time frame. So early registrations needs to be considered.
Thanks, Busi. I think we can move on to the next one. Sibanda Boipelo, you can come through.
Hi everybody. My question was actually regarding on the system. There was a section for the learner absorption rate on completion. So I wanted to find, is that across all when you are applying for the DG? Hello?
Hi, Samantha. No,
Sorry. Okay.
yeah, just to answer that, it's not across all forms. So I can quickly check and mention those forms for you in the chat, if that's okay.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Machabele, you can come through.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation and the system testing. If I previously registered as SDF, do I need to re-register, or I can use the previous or old credentials to get into the system? Thank you.
Okay, am I unmute? Okay, yeah. To answer the question that came through, yes, the SDF registration process, it's for new stakeholders that have not accessed the Foodbev SETA SIM system with the primary SDF role. So if, for example, you have applied for MG window in the previous financial year, then you can always use those credentials and reset your password, because the password does expire after 30 days. But if for existing users such as providers, employers that mainly focus on learner registrations, but because you don't have the primary SDF role, your role currently is provider and employer, yes, you'll have to go through that SDF registration process, and the SETA will approve you as a primary SDF, then you can start creating and submitting the DG.
Thank you, Tepi. Karin, you can come in. Karen, I think we're having some trouble, technical troubles on your side. I see you unmuted, but we can't hear you. Can I maybe suggest that you type out your question in the chat box? And then we'll go to Kosi. You can come through.
Hi everyone. Sister Pine, I'm gonna take you back. On the themes, the first step, about logging in. That's where I get stuck mostly. I can't go beyond that. I am registered as an SDF and my name shows there on the profile thing at the corner there. So you went past and I never, and you also mentioned something about receiving an email notifying you that you've been registered as something. So I'm not sure if it's because I can't go forward because I haven't received the email or there's something I did wrong whilst registering as an SDF.
Okay, they can do two things. So we're gonna need the company SDL number, if it's a T number or L number, then we can check on the system who is the approved SDF. And it could be that your status is still sitting as pending. So if it's still on pending, then the Foodbev SITA team will have to evaluate that application first before we can change it to approved.
Okay, it was pending and then we realized we didn't attach the, what you call this, authorization letter from the organization with the chairperson's,
Appointment letter.
yes,
Yeah.
appointment letter. So we've loaded it, but still I can't go forward. So we should wait for the status to change from pending to approved.
Yes, Busi, I don't know who is the designated person dealing with the SDF registrations. Maybe the stakeholder can just give them the company information and have that checked so that they can start working on their forms.
Oh, okay. No, we'll call in with the receptionist. Maybe they'll be able to help us.
On the presentation, please look for Jafta. Jafta will assist you with the SDF registration.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Just to address some of the queries in the chat box, we will send a manual after the session as well as the presentation. I see a lot of questions are regarding a manual. We will be sharing that. I think we can go to the next question. Inam, you can come through.
Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to find out something. Actually, I don't know whether you've covered on your presentation. In terms of the project fee, are these programs have the project fee? If yes, what percentage? At what percentage? Thank you.
Good afternoon. The current project within the DG, they don't have a project fee. Project fee is under partnership or special project. This one, they don't have a project fee.
Thanks, Sam. Lorraine, you can come through.
Afternoon, colleagues. Thank you very much for the presentation. So we are, I've just finished registering on the SIMS. How long is the process before we are approved? Because I see the status is pending. Colleagues, can you hear me?
Are you referring to the SDF registration?
Yes, ma'am.
Please check with Jafta as well.
Jafta, okay.
Yes.
And he's in the meeting, right?
Yes, he's there on the list of the that we shared in the presentation. Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tato, you can come through.
Good day, colleagues. Thank you so much for the presentation. My question rather
It's not even a question, it's a concern. I just need a little bit of clarity. We have been experiencing a communication barrier with receiving immediate responses from our designated assistance officers in terms of the internships. So I just wanted to find out as to what is the food BEV doing to mitigate this problem, as it affects our channel of communication, which creates a lot of frustrations because of uncertainties. Because as we communicate with you, we also have to communicate with our certain departments where we have placed our learners. So can that be at least solved, or is there anything that the food BEV is doing to at least mitigate this matter?
Thank you for that question. Can you please clarify in terms of communication barrier? Are you unable to reach the people that you're communicating with, or they are not responding, or please
Yes.
clarify your question. You are
Yes,
unable to reach
we
them.
are unable to can reach the people that we are supposed to be helping us, more especially when we are busy with our processes and concluding everything on our side.
I'm not sure. Mandy has been on maternity leave. I think Buitoko now is acting on behalf of Mandy. So can you please email Buitoko? Her contact details are there on the presentation as well. She'll be able to assist you.
No problem.
Thanks, Busi. I don't see any more hands, and we are running out of time. I know we scheduled the session till 1 o'clock. So if we can just allow for Llewellyn to please do his presentation, which is for the capacitation of the SDFs and SDPs. Llewellyn, if you're ready, you can come through and continue with your presentation.
There we go. Okay, colleagues, thank you so much. And thank you so much for making time available to join us. These sessions are very important just to be up to date with what is happening in terms of the requirements. And I'm going to go through a presentation right now that specifically speaks to the SDFs. However, if you want more information on the training provider side, in order to be accredited as a training provider, etc., this presentation also includes that information. But for today's session, I will stop after the SDF information. But like I said, this will be shared with everyone, and if you need more information, you can come back to this slide. So in terms of the presentation outline, I'll just go through the role players, the implementation for the SDFs, payment requirements, and then the occupational qualifications. So I will be sharing also a list of the Food Bev CETA qualifications and skills programs. And I'll also be doing a short demonstration on where you as an SDF can locate accredited training providers and also locate programs that are accredited through the SAQA website. So in terms of the role players in the implementation of the funded occupational learnerships, so you have your companies and then you have your skills development providers or your SDPs. You obviously have Food Bev CETA, and then yourselves as the SDFs. You have your facilitators that are linked to your SDPs. These need to be subject matter experts. You have your examiners, your invigilators, and your markers, which are linked to your ISA process, which is an external integrated summative assessment. So once your training is concluded, your learners will go through an ISA, and that will be held, that will be run through the invigilators, examiners, and markers. Your moderators, which assist Food Bev CETA with instruments and scripts, the QCTO, the learners, and the assessment centers. So while I'm here, I just want to talk about the link between your STP and your assessment centers. When you use an accredited STP that is doing a program for you, for example, let's say they're doing the new packaging learnership with you, make sure that they also have an assessment center. You can also, as the host employer, which I highly recommend, to be the assessment center. That means that your learners will do the assessments at your workplace. So when you use your accredited SDP, ask them, do they have an assessment center, or can you be the assessment center? If you want to be the assessment center, you can then apply directly through the QCTO website to be an assessment center, and then your learners will do the assessments at your workplace. Sorry, this mouse of mine jumps up instead of down. There we go. So what matters for an SDF? So the intricacies of implementation for SDFs, like discussed by my previous colleagues, your WSP and ATRs must be completed, and you must indicate the new qualifications, which I'm going to share with you just now. Implementation durations based on the qualification credits. You will see that the credits range from 125 credits all the way up to 250 odd credits. So the duration will be linked on your credits. So have a look at your implementation plans when you're drafting them and take into consideration the number of credits for the new programs. Role players are no longer the same. So the role players linked to the legacy qualifications have changed. Like we looked at earlier, we have different role players now. So the roles of assessment centers, that is where your learner will do their final assessment, or what we call an ISA for your learnerships, will be at the assessment center, and highly recommend that you as a workplace become that assessment center. Then funding of the new learning program. So if you have a look at the grant funding policy, you will see that the funding changes depending on the amount of credits that are linked to the new learning programs. So the more credits, obviously the more funding, because the duration is longer. Sharing of information with FoodBev. So the competency frameworks are very important. You will be requested through one of our departments to share your competency frameworks. That just assists us when we look at the development courses for the different sectors. Different sets of deliverables to expect from an SDP. So in terms of the enrollment, so you will still enroll your learners as normal with the FoodBev CETA, but for the new qualifications, your SDPs will also be required to submit a LISA document. And the LISA document is basically the learner registration document for the QCTO. So the QCTO can track the progress of your learners in terms of the new qualifications. And then workplaces for work experience modules. So a lot of the SDPs in our sector do not have the equipment available for the practical component as well as the workplace modules. So when the SDP requests you to assist them with an MOU, please have a look at that, because they will require it in order to implement the practical modules and the workplace modules at your companies. So payment requirements, there's going to be 3 payments as per normal in terms of the grant funding policy. You will get your first tranche on the registration. Your second tranche will be on progress, and your third tranche will be on your completion. In brackets ISA, we are looking at that a little bit more closely. The reason being is that when we receive the feedback from the QCTO on the learner's competency against the ISA, that can happen months before the learner actually receives a certificate. So in terms of the completion evidence, we are looking at using that instead of a learner certificate, because it can take quite a while for the QCTO to generate that. In terms of the progress, there is a new panel that will be starting with the FoodBev CETA on education and training experts. And this panel will be conducting the progress checks for us, which will then be linked to your second tranche payments. For the learners that are currently on the new qualifications and have progressed quite far, we can still use our current interval moderation toolkit to have a look at progress on that. Then for Food BFC occupational qualifications, I'm going to actually jump to another document over here that I've got a better description of our programs. Okay, so these are the new programs that are available for the DG funding window. So you've got your qualifications on the left-hand side and your skills programs on the right-hand side. You will take note of the credit values over here. Like I said, average is about 123 for the generic qualifications. I call them generic because they're all sort of in the same range. NQF level 3, 123 credits. Your baking, your packaging, your process machine operator, your liquid dairy reception operator, your meat processing operator. Then we have the two new fish and seafood qualifications that have been registered with the QCTO. The one is at level 3, 167 credits, and the one is at level 2, which is 78 credits. But you can go through this list at your leisure. This will also be shared with you guys after the presentations. And then on the right-hand side, we have our skills programs, our basic food safety complier at NQF level 2, 16 credits, your fermented dough products at 36, and your red meat deboner at 48. For the next funding window, we should have an additional 5 SPs over here, ranging from baking all the way through to some generic skills. And then we will be having another 2 full learnerships in the next financial year being added here as well. Then going back here, so these are just this will also be in the presentation, but these are just the SACWA ID numbers, but I'll share the Excel document with you guys as well. Skills programs, like mentioned earlier, these are the 3 that are available currently. And then for the skills development providers, I don't want to go into too much detail here, but I'll just quickly go through it so that you can just see what it looks like. So you have your 3 compliance criteria for accreditation, which you will see on the QCTO's website in terms of the program requirements. The details are here. I'm not going to go through all of it now because this is an SDF session, but you'll see here it's not crazy requirements. It's quite obtainable. And then this is the process for the application that can take from the start to the end, depending on the quality of the application, can take anywhere from 30 days to 60 days, depending on the quality of the application. Then you go to the QCTO's website directly to apply for accreditation. That is your first step. You can use this document to click on the link. It'll take you straight there. And then you'll go to the quick link section on the QCTO website for all of the details and requirements. I highly recommend downloading the Road to Success document. It gives you a lot of nuance in terms of the implementation of the new learning programs. But you'll see here that you've got 3 sections that you can apply for accreditation. The first one is for full qualifications or part qualifications. The second application type is for your skills program. And then your third application type, which is very important for you as an SDF, would be the assessment center application. If you want your learners to be assessed on your site, on your equipment, for your products, then I would highly recommend that you apply for an assessment center accreditation. The three different applications look like this. So the full qualifications is your orange one, and then your lighter orange is your skills program, and your green one is your assessment centers. So if you're applying for assessment center and your application form comes up as orange, then you know you're on the wrong form. And then once you've done your application, you'll receive an accreditation acknowledgement from the QCTO confirming that you have applied and for which program. It will then start the process of evaluation. So you'll have your desktop evaluation done by the QCTO. The QCTO will then send through a spreadsheet to the Food BEF CETA to conduct the required site visits. The site visits will be conducted and you will receive a report that's called a Form 5 report that indicates that you are recommended for accreditation. If you have that Form 5 report currently and you have not yet received your letter from the QCTO, Foodbev CETA will provide you with a recommendation letter that you can use for your DG applications. So if any of your SDFs have gone through the site visit already, let us know and give us a copy of your Form 5, and we'll be able to give you a letter that you can use for the DG applications. Then the process continues all the way through to the recommendation by the QCTO. And the entire process for the accreditation outcome, the QCTO have given themselves 90 days to provide you with the final accreditation letter from their end. If there's any queries or anything, any additional questions you might have, you can email our stakeholder relations department, or you can email me directly. My email is in the chat. It's llewellyn@foodbev.co.za. If you need any information on the learning programs or the accreditation process, etc., etc. Just note that the QA department only deals with learnerships and skills programs. All of your other programs, your artisans, your bursaries, etc., that will be with our sister department in LPSP. But before I go, I just want to show our colleagues quickly just a few shortcuts on where to look for some information on the QCTO's website. So if you type in QCTO in Google, you're going to come up over here where it says welcome to the QCTO. I would use two shortcuts here. The first one is if I'm looking for programs that are available, I'd use the first shortcut over here. If I'm looking for training providers that are accredited, I would use this shortcut over here. So if I'm looking for a qualification, I will just click on that and just give it a second, and it will take you through to a qualification page. Over here, you're going to see just a breakdown of the occupational qualifications and reviews, etc., etc. But what you can do is if you need to have more specific information, you can come to this tab over here and then have a look at, not skills programs, where is it? Oh, it's the top one here, occupational quals and skills and part qualifications. Click on this one over here. And then I'm going to show you how to use some filters to narrow your search. And just give it a second. It does take a second just to load. Okay, so it loads up, and then you will see you have a few options across the top here. And what you can do is, what I like to do is I like to look at the quality partner. So if I want to look at Foodbev calls, I go to my quality partner, I go to A to Z, and then I look for Foodbev. Sorry, when my Foodbev should stop. Here we go. So these are all the Foodbev calls that you can apply for. It will give you all the information you need, but a nice little feature on the QCTO's website is you can actually download the assessment specifications for the qualification, and you can also download the actual curriculum document, which gives you all of the modules, all of the outcomes, all of the credits, all of the information on the curriculum, etc. So it's a nice little added benefit to using the QCTO's website to search for your qualifications. The other way to look for your qualifications, oh, sorry, let me just show you the skills programs as well. So also back here, you go to your skills programs, all skills programs, and a very similar situation there, where you would also see on your right-hand side, you can also download the actual assessment specs and the actual qualification document itself for your skills programs. And all of these skills programs are the current new QCTO skills programs. The other way you can look for qualifications is through the SAQA website. So if you go to saqua.org.za, you'll come to the landing page. First thing you need to do is just hover on your services tab and click on the first section over here, registration of quals and part quals. Click on that and then just scroll down a little bit. And then on your left-hand side, you can click on all. And then you can either search here for qualification or unit standard. I would say go for a qualification. And then if you don't know what the title is or the SAQA ID number is, you can use the list that I provided earlier, but let's have a look at one of the ones that have been extended. So 50305. So you type in here 50305, hit enter, and this will take you to the qualification document. It will show you the last date of enrollment, so you'll be able to see if the qualification is still available for enrollment or not. It'll give you all the details, your minimum credits, your level, and it will also give you all the unit standards that are linked to the qualification. And just a heads up, all the unit standards linked to a qualification that has been extended, we're talking about legacy qualifications, can also be used for skills programs. So they take on the end date of the qualification itself. Talking about qualifications that have been extended, so we have extended qualifications from DHET for the legacy programs. We have 3 that are currently still available from the old system that are available for the DG applications, which is your food laboratory analyst for the dairy side. We have the normal generic food laboratory analyst and the generic management at level 4. The fish and seafood level 3 and level 2 have been replaced by the new QCTO qualifications. So those ones are available now for our SDPs to get their accreditation. I think from my side, that is it for now. Like I said, if there are any questions or if anyone needs any clarity on learnerships and skills programs, please feel free to reach out and we will assist you. And for any of your SDPs that are still waiting for an accreditation letter from the QCTO and they've completed their site visit, we can assist them as well with the recommendation letter for the DG applications. Yeah, that's it for me. Any questions?
Thanks, Llewellyn, for that informative presentation. If there are any questions, we will take some. Just raise your hand. I see we have a hand from Vulenda. You can come through. Vulenda, your mic is muted.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
Good. You're speaking to Mashudu from Rasinku Investments. Thank you for the presentation. Just want clarity on the registration of learners on QCTO. Who do we talk to and how do we do that? I don't know if
Okay, thank you. No problem. Okay, so first of all, make sure that your learners are first registered with us. Okay, so go through the normal registration process within, like Mr. Ngidi indicated, within 60 days on your approvals, make sure that your learners are registered with us. The second thing you would need to do is you'd need to register that same group of learners with the QCTO, and you do that through a LISA document. The LISA document, I think I'll share that with you colleagues as well. It's for the SDPs, not really the SDFs. No, it is actually for the SDFs. I'll have to share that with you guys as well. But there's a LISA document. It's a document that you're going to use to complete all the learner details that need to be registered with the QCTO. There's 2 parts of the LISA document. The first part is for the registration side, and the second part is for when the learners are ready to write their final external integrated summative assessment, or the ISA. That's the second part. So what I'll do is part of the documents that we're going to send out to everyone, I'll include the LISA document for you guys. It's a very straightforward document that you just need to complete. And then there is an email address in the document that you're going to send that to. And then the QCTO will then capture that information on their system as well. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Llewellyn. I don't see any more hands. I think we can
I saw
just...
Gerald. Gerald was just saying hi there, Gerald. Oh, there we are. Hi, Gerald.
Gerald, you can come in.
Thanks, Llewellyn. Once again, thank you for the presentation. It's not a question that I've, I mean, it's really a question. It is like, just ask you guys of the QA department to do another workshop on this, if you
Sure.
don't mind.
Sure.
Because the time was limited, and you know, maybe there is people wanted to ask
Yeah, we will.
questions and so forth, but and in my case, I would love to ask questions, but I'm looking at the time. So
No problem.
yeah,
No problem. No,
please
we are
arrange
having...
arrange a meeting, and then
Yeah.
I know
So we will be,
you
Gerald,
guys.
we will be having another workshop specifically for our SDPs, and we'll be having that probably now in the next month here in November. So yeah, we'll send you an invite and you can come and ask us all your questions.
Okay, thank you, man. Really do appreciate, and thanks
No
for the
problem.
presentation, by the way.
You're
It's great.
welcome.
Okay.
Thanks, Gerald. Just
Thank
also
you.
to mention, please do make sure that you guys are registered on our database. Send an email to stakeholder relations requesting to be on the database, because when we do send out these invites and the links for these workshops, we send it to everybody who is on our database. So Gerald, I'm not sure if you are, but please, to you and everybody else, please do make sure that you are registered on our mailing list. So the next workshop date and link will be sent to all of you guys. But seeing that there aren't any more hands or questions, I think we can close off this session. We will be sending all presentations, the manual, and also the link to the YouTube page right after the session. So please do look out for that email. If there are no further questions, I think we can close off. Thank you all for joining the session, and make sure to catch us on the next one. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks very
bye.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Wow.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Mhm.